Part two, we become blind to our true identities when we compare ourselves to others. In the first part, we talked about those who are sleepwalking. If a person is sleepwalking, they have yet to discover their purpose, their identity, and their destiny, and they're existing and not living. I gave an example of one of my dream cars, the Challenger, and how I pulled up on the side and looked to my left, and immediately insecurity came to the surface because I began to compare myself with someone I didn't know because of what they had. So let's talk about externals. Externals are very tricky. Externals in this example is the house, the car, the money, the clothing. Externals. Sometimes, I ain't saying all of us, but this is the thought of the day. We get distracted by externals, and externals project an image to us. Just because a person, male or female, has a plethora of externals, clothing, cars, houses, whether it be property or money, does not mean that they have obtained wealth. It means that they have obtained possessions. They may have some money, but guess what? That's not that should not be our focus on what another person has. We get easily distracted because of what we assume a person has. And it's deadly because we begin to make decisions that impacts our lives individually and impacts our lives collectively based on assumptions and envy of externals. Just because a person owns or possesses externals does not mean that they're immature, y'all. It does not mean that they have really done the work, what one of my colleagues, Dr. Ingram, used to call the hard work, the internal work. Because if a person obtains an abundance of externals, the house, the car, the money, the clothing, that is what we call temporal or temporal possessions. On a higher level, it's really people building on sand. There was a foolish man and there was a wise man. The wise man, human, built on the rock, and the foolish man built on sand, because the foolish man heard but didn't do, but the wise man heard and did. So when a person is hearing and not doing, that is associated with hypocrisy. And if you look up the word hypocrisy, the etymology of the word hypocrisy is, drum roll, play actor. I'm putting a facade, a pseudo image to you because I'm maneuvering, I'm hustling, I'm making it work because there's some insecurities in me, and I'm trying to use externals to fill that insecurity. Guess what? And as we close out on this thought, externals will never, ever bring you fulfillment. Externals can bring you happiness. Externals cannot bring you joy. Externals can't even, well, they can bring you temporary satisfaction, but they can bring contentment, because what I named contentment, peace, joy are all internal based on us understanding who created us, what we were created for, in association with purpose, destiny, and legacy. You can't get past it. When you listen to the thought of the day is coming from me, you will not get past identity, purpose, and destiny, because once we realize full potential, We won't be envious of people that have things. We won't make decisions based on what we see someone else do. Because when we get in that position, we have become slaves to someone who has yet to discover who they are, and we have become slaves to status quo and mediocrity. That's part 2. We'll talk soon.